Welcome to This Week in the Peace. A little later on, I'm going to be chatting with Peace Gallery North curator Florencia Ormeño. She has opened her last exhibit at the gallery as she plans on moving on at the end of May. We'll chat about her time as the curator in Fort St. John and what's next for her. But first, lots of news out of the South Peace, but we are going to talk mostly about the emergency department in Chetwynd being on diversion for 5 straight nights just this past week. To talk a bit about the situation and some other items if we get time in the South Peace, we're joined now by the MLA for Peace River South, Mike Bernier. Mike, welcome back, I guess for the first time on This Week in the Peace. Thanks for being here.
Actually, I'm going off memory here. I think we've done it a few times, but it's been a while, definitely, for sure.
We've changed the name since then, I guess, is the big one. So
I guess so.
Anyway, thank you very much for your time here. Mike, let's kind of start with these diversions in the Chetwynd Emergency Department. 5 nights in a row, I think, was last I heard, last count. I mean, unprecedented is the word I think of, I have to imagine. You've probably never seen something like this before, eh, Mike?
No, I haven't, and I've used the word unprecedented as well. And I'm knocking on some wood here that it's not going to go to day 6 today in Chetwynd, and hopefully they find something that's suitable to keep the emergency department open. We probably should, though, Doug. I got to thank all of the doctors and nurses in Chetwynd, Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, all of them, the ones that are going above and beyond to try to keep facilities open right now. I know in Fort St. John there's similar struggles sometimes for the emergency there. But for Chetwynd, when you have the small community like that and nowhere else to go, like most of our communities up here, it's really problematic and scary, frankly, when we're told, sorry, you show up at the door and there's a sign on it that says, go somewhere else. That's not the healthcare we need and deserve up in our region.
So I assume the diversion, from what I understand of it, I mean, most of the people, as you said, are going to Dawson Creek and Fort St. John. What are you hearing from constituents in Chetwynd? Were people going to like Prince George? Like, how many people did you hear had to go to Dawson Creek over the past few days when this was happening?
I mean, one is too many, obviously, and I
Yeah.
haven't heard specific first because everybody's got their own personal stories. But what I have heard is definitely some scary stories where people have told me about going to the hospital with a young child with pneumonia that needs to be hospitalized and being told, sorry, drive to Dawson Creek. We had a car accident, and unfortunately, some people needed some life-saving interventions, and we're told, sorry. We'll do what we can, but you got to go to Dawson Creek. That's not good. And all we need is 1 or 2 nurses, 1 doctor, and that would make a huge difference for a small community like Chetwynd. I've met with Adrian Dix, well aware of it. He's been promising me for 3 years that he would deal with this and fix it. But yet every time I talk to him, it just seems like the matter is getting worse and worse. Really, the government's just burying their heads in the sand. We could be bringing in contract nurses. I don't care what we have to do. Let's get some doctors on contract, fly them in, put them in a hotel, figure out some program. Like, there's no suitable time when we should be saying, sorry, people, you don't have the health access you need.
And in terms of just even like from doctors and nurses who you thanked right at the start here, have you heard from them in Dawson Creek, even when they're now, with one hospital going on diversion, that means, well, they got to pick up the slack when they're also kind of stretched thin as it is, as we know. I mean, have you heard from them and what they're saying and sort of their expressions of frustration, I imagine, at a situation where we're already doing as much as we can, and now we have to find yet another gear in order to ensure that people who live in Chetwynd and in the surrounding area who need emergency services can access them after that hour drive to Dawson Creek?
No, exactly. I've heard from doctors and nurses in Chetwynd, of course, who are frustrated and doing what they can to try to avoid these diversions. But as one doctor said to me, I can't work 24/7. Eventually I need to take a break. And unfortunately, that means if I'm the only doctor, that the hospital will have to go on diversion for at least 8 hours so I can get some sleep. Obviously, I think we need to respect and understand that. The doctors and nurses in Dawson Creek, though, are also getting frustrated and very burnt out. I went and talked with some of the nurses who have been telling me they've been working double shifts. I talked to one nurse and I said, "How you doing?" He goes, "Just started my shift, but my second 12-hour shift back to back." So we're short. Last I saw, 28 nurses in the Dawson Creek Hospital. So that'll give you a sense of the pressure that we're under there as well. We're losing quite a few doctors in Dawson Creek. Their contracts are up. They've decided to move away back down south to be closer to families and other practices. And they've also told me that they're frustrated and getting burnt out. There's only so much that these people can do. It comes down to Northern Health and the government, the communities. We need to have a plan and fill these vacancies and make sure we do that, obviously, sooner than rather than later.
What do you think the solution is? I mean, I know we got an election coming up, so everybody's, saying they've got a solution. I'm sure the NDP will say they have a solution when they really get out there, right? But this seems like it can't just be, let's throw money at the problem and, as you say, just increase spending on healthcare so we can get more doctors and nurses. It seems more complicated than that. So, what are you saying? What is the party saying about this government, or our government if we form it in the fall? This is what we're going to do to make it better for people in the North and hopefully avoid at least some of, if not all of, the diversions that we seem to have been seeing more and more as the years go on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll obviously sound very partisan and political with this, but the NDP have been in government 7 years now. We've gone from first to worst when it comes to healthcare outcomes in Canada. When I was on the government side with the BC Liberals, now BC United, and we had the best health outcomes in Canada. Did we do everything right? Absolutely not. There was always more to do. But what I've seen over the last 7 years is this government, the NDP, seem to specifically focus on urban British Columbia, and that's it. I think you would be hard-pressed to find any rural MLA that would say that things have gotten better. But if this was happening in Vancouver or Maple Ridge or Surrey, heck, even out in the Fraser Valley, this would be front page news. This would be global story. The media would be all over it, and the health minister would be all over it. 5 days in Chetwynd, it's like, you know what? Sorry to hear that you're bad luck. That seems to be the answer I get from the government. Now, they try to say, oh, we're looking at solutions. But this has been 7 years. They've doubled the health budget in the province of British Columbia from $17 billion to over $30 billion in the last 7 years. And our outcomes have gotten worse. Wait times are longer and hospitals are on diversion. So as you said, it's not about throwing more money at it. So really, this is what we've been talking about, is more attention on rural British Columbia. Get more training seats. Put more programs in place to incentivize doctors and nurses up to the region. If that means student loan forgiveness, we've tried that, but maybe we have to look at being creative. Contract nurses aren't always the answer, but they have been a solution in some areas to stop diversions from happening. And there's a whole bunch of tools that we can use. I just find that the NDP are just ignoring it completely rather than trying to address the situation.
And I should say that we here at This Week in the Peace, we are trying to get an interview with Adrian Dix, the Minister of Health, hopefully in the next week or two, so we can ask him directly what he's hoping to do about this. One last thing on this, Mike, for you. What have you heard from the Chetwynd Hospital or Northern Health, whoever it happens to be, in terms of going forward? We had 5 nights in a row of diversions. How do we know this isn't just going to keep happening in exactly the same way? Have they said, we're doing our best, but prepare for more of this? What have you heard on that front?
Yeah, a couple of different things. I mean, Northern Health, where my frustration with them is, it doesn't seem to be a succinct schedule that's in place where we can predict. It always seems to be last minute. And that, I think, adds to the frustration a lot of people have. If we know we're short-staffed, why aren't we trying to reschedule? Why are we not bringing in some contract people to help out to avoid this? Again, when I talk to the doctors and nurses in Chetwynd, the reason why sometimes it's last minute is because a lot of them have agreed to do shifts, and then somebody might get sick, or they've already worked a 24-hour shift, and they say, look, I was going to try to stay longer. I just can't physically. And that's why a lot of this sometimes is last minute. It does not change the fact, though, that we're short-staffed in almost all of the areas in the health profession, and we need to fix that. So you can only imagine the frustration, like I said, for all of us in the Peace region, when we should be able to have a better understanding through the Northern Health and through the ministry of how to fix these problems. And, just to hear on a Facebook post, sorry, our hospital's closed, doesn't cut it.
All right, Mike, I want to talk to you a bit about the BC Wildfire Service. And of course, going back a couple weeks now, I think there was a wildfire that started sort of southwest of Chetwynd, closed Highway 97 for a bit there, and had it down to single lane alternating traffic for quite some time during days where they were fighting it. This came like a week or two after they announced that they were closing the initial attack team that was stationed there in Chetwynd. Again, I kind of want your thoughts on this, because again, the government seems to have walked this back, and they've announced that no, there's going to be staff there. It's not like everybody's leaving all this. What did you hear in terms of that walk back and sort of what the expectation is now, especially given that, as I said, like a week after they said they were getting out, there was a wildfire at Chetwynd where they were needed, where crews were needed to fight it?
Yeah, it was a bit of the perfect storm, so to speak, for the government to say we don't need the initial attack unit in Dawson Creek, in Chetwynd, and then move them to Dawson Creek, only to have a fire like a week later and have to move them right back. So the government, first of all, don't trust what they're saying. When they're saying, don't worry, the people are there, that's only because they've mobilized the initial attack unit back from Dawson Creek into the Chetwynd area, because now it's fire season. That's what they said they would do. The concern we have, though, is when there's no fires, they're saying, oh, we'll move them back into Dawson Creek. Mm-hmm. Last week was a perfect example. If you can tell me when the fire is going to happen, then help me pick my lotto numbers, because that's not how this works. We never know, whether it's human caused or Mother Nature through a lightning storm. You never know. So you need to have those people available, ready to go. Thankfully, I'm told that we have them back in Chetwynd right now, because it is fire season. But one of the things I've committed to with our party is, we're not going to move people back and forth. We get elected, we're committing that we will do the investment, we will have the infrastructure in place in Chetwynd, and the people will be stationed there. To have them fly from Dawson Creek, we don't get a lot of forest fires around Dawson Creek, even though we have the forestry office here. They happen up north of Fort St. John, happen by Tumbler Ridge, happen by Chetwynd. That's where the people need to be able to get out as soon as possible and fight those fires in the unfortunate times when those happen.
All right, Mike. Well, we're going to have to leave it there, but I'm grateful for your time this morning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on. We'll talk soon, I'm sure. Thanks.
Absolutely. That's Mike Bernier, the Peace River South MLA, joining us on This Week in the Peace. We'll be right back to chat with Peace Gallery North curator Florencia Ormeño right after this.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza, served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
Do you have some good news you'd like to share with the community? We here at Moose FM want to share your positivity every weekday. Whether you're fundraising for the SPCA or saw someone doing a good deed in the community, we want to hear from you. Email us at reception@moosefm.ca and we'll share your good news right after the 7:30 a.m. news and on our Facebook pages. Good News is brought to you by Frontier Law.
When it comes to your wedding, event, or party, it's the little details that really make the event come to life. So make sure you book with FSJ Systems Rental Source, specializing in elevating events and catering. They provide services such as large event tents, catering equipment, tables and chairs, audio and lighting, and more. Serving the Peace region and beyond, FSJ Systems Rental Source. For more information or to book them for your events, call 250-787-7591.
You're shopping around for an automobile.
Come see Ford City Chrysler.
You're trying to find the very best deal.
Looking for a fine pre-owned vehicle? Ford City Chrysler has cars, trucks, minivans, and SUVs, 4-wheel drive pickups, and diesels too. Many with remaining factory warranty. And they're all quality inspected and ready to go. At Ford City Chrysler, you're buying from your hometown dealer. No pressure, no hassles, just honesty and integrity. Only at Ford City Chrysler, only in Fort St. John.
When we say there's always something going on in the energetic city, we mean it. The staff at the City of Fort St. John's Recreation Department always have a variety of exciting programs and events planned all year long. Swims and skates, camps and contests. You can find something happening throughout the city at the Pomeroy Sports Center, the North Peace Leisure Pool, Centennial Park, or the Cultural Center. For more, visit the City of Fort St. John Recreation page on Facebook or fortstjohn.ca.
Founded over 25 years ago, Alpha Training Solutions is a full-service safety training agency offering in-class training in Fort St. John as well as on-site training across BC. Training categories include
industrial training, H2S Alive, and fall protection. H2S Alive classes run twice a week, plus all of the forestry S courses such as S100 and S185.
Alpha Training Solutions. See them in their new facility on 99 Avenue in the HR Block building or register online at alpha-training.ca.
Step into a world of witchcraft and wizardry.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
The Fort St. John Co-op and SLB bring you our first of this year's Movie in the Park series, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Travel to Hogwarts and rediscover the story that started it all. Harry, Hermione, and Ron navigate their first year in this new world filled with magic, danger, and even a...
In the dungeon! Turn around in the dungeon!
This movie is free to attend and will be shown in Centennial Park on May 24th at 7 p.m. Dress in your house colors, bring your wands, and enjoy Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This Movie in the Park is brought to you by SLB, the Fort St. John Co-op, and 100.1 Moose FM, and is proudly supported by Burger King, Trican Well Service Limited, Murray GM, and the Fort St. John Home Hardware.
You can watch this show live on Facebook, catch the replays at energeticcity.ca, or be part of the show by texting your thoughts to the Fort City Chrysler line at 250-787-2222.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dub Craig. The Peace Gallery North curator has opened her last exhibit with the gallery as she plans on moving on at the end of May. So to chat about her time at the gallery and in Fort St. John in general, I'm very pleased to be joined now by Florencia Ormeño. Flo, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, Dub.
You're very welcome. So why don't we start first with the last exhibit that you opened, I think, just on Friday, which is wonderful. Tell us a bit about that exhibit and how you're feeling about it as sort of your final show, I suppose, that you've put together.
I'm very happy that my final show was with the Federation of Canadian Artists. The exhibit is called Colors of the Peace, Subtle and Wild and Subtle, and it is available until June 1st. We have over 10 artists, like almost 27 pieces. We've sold already 8 pieces, and it's a wonderful show. We had a great opening. There was like over 45 people there, which is great. Yeah, it was my last opening. So I'm very thankful for everyone that showed up.
Wonderful. Was there significance to this because you knew it would be your last one? Like, I don't know how far ahead you knew that you were going to be leaving, but in putting this together, were you like, I really want to really make sure I put a lasting impact on this?
Yeah. So I've known I'm leaving for the last month. Yeah. So I knew that was my last opening show. Mm-hmm. Like marketing and everything else, I'll be there for the next show, but like in person, I won't. And I wanted to say goodbye to all the artists, and everyone's local there. So that was the best part of it. And it was very emotional, actually. Mm-hmm. I even had to give like a tiny speech. Yeah. I don't really like talking that much in public, but it was nice.
Well, thank you again for being here, by the way, to speak in public. Let's go back to you starting at the gallery. I think I had you on Moose Talks pretty early on when you had started there. And so you've probably told this story before, but tell us again sort of how you ended up as the curator of Peace Gallery North, how you came to come to Fort St. John.
Yeah, so the first week I started at Peace Gallery North, I had an interview here. So it's a full circle now, closing it with you too. And I came to Canada, Fort St. John, for work. Yeah. And I'm an architect I studied architecture. and I wanted to always be more related to fine arts. And Fort St. John had the opportunity. I knew the last gallery curator, so that was kind of like, it helped me a little bit to get into that scene. But that's how I started here, and I've been devoted to the gallery. I'm there all the time. I love it, and I love working to the North Peace Cultural Center, but now it's time for new beginnings, and I'm moving to the other side of Canada. And I will be closer to my family as well. So that is good.
I mean, what a leap to take from, I apologize, where did you move from to Fort St. John?
I was born in Chile.
Yeah, so you were coming from Chile to come here.
So, yeah, my family like is there, so it is a few flights for me from here. So it's 4 flights, 2 days. So
an enormous leap to go from Chile to Fort St. John, because there are probably jobs in Vancouver or Toronto, the cities you may know of in Canada, but you probably you probably hadn't heard of Fort St. John before you saw the shop opening there. What was your sort of initial reaction to the group of artists that were here, whether it's musicians, painters, sculptors, all these people here? Were you surprised there was this many artists kind of around? What did you think?
Yeah, I was actually very surprised because it's a group that is so settled, like so together, and they come together as a community, help each other. There's like a few groups that have been here for over like 30 years since the gallery started, the cultural center started. So I was shocked, actually. There's so many artists in here, and they all come together and try to give the young and kids a new space for them as well. So I'm very happy I got to meet them because they gave, like, I learned so much. So yeah.
What do you think was your favorite thing that happened in your time at the gallery? You've talked a lot about just the artists and the people you met, but was there... You got a funny story or something interesting that happened that really sticks with you about your time in Fort St. John?
Yeah, with the gallery, my work, I think the accomplishment I most enjoy first is the art auction. That was crazy, but it was so much fun. And also the kids art gallery, that was new. I started last March with the gallery assistant Kaylee, and we just organized it. I did like a quick setup, and we started selling art, and I asked the executive director if we could sell it like real like sales. So we put a budget for $5 each kit, and they're selling. Every day we make sales. They do love it, and it is so nice to see them enjoy the arts and bring that space closer to them. And also being able to sell it like as a real artist. So I really like it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And the kids that make the art, they're kind of in the program Let's Art, or is that part of it? Yeah.
And also from the daycare at the cultural center, they're very artistic. Yeah.
Wonderful. What do you think was your favorite thing about Fort St. John outside of the gallery? When you had time to venture outside the gallery?
Yeah, so my favorite thing about Fort St. John is like the summer. It is the night that doesn't end, the light, not the mosquitoes though, but like
it can't be perfect, I suppose.
I guess so, but the sky. I love the sky in Fort St. John. Is so inspiring, and I see that in the art as well, how it inspires like all the artists. Because we have such a bright and big sky in here, and in the big cities you don't have that. The quietness of it, it's beautiful. Yeah,
I haven't been in a while, but one of my favorite paintings in the gallery that I always just kind of stare at, I think it's a farmhouse on a hill, and most of it is sky, and I'm just like, as a prairie boy, that's all I want.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, that's Julian Gunther's. Yeah,
there you go. So you said you're moving across Canada for your next adventure. Tell us a bit about that and what you'll be doing, if you don't mind.
I don't mind, but there's no plans yet. I'm just moving because it's summer. There's some personal things that I had to like deal with.
Sure.
And I'm going to Ontario. I do have family there and my loved ones, so I'm trying to be closer to South America as well. It's just one fly away. So new beginnings, basically, and it is a good time also to a new person to start in the gallery. Summer is more quiet, so they can get like a hold of everything that's going on, everyone has like a little more time to meet the artists, to be trained by me, by the gallery assistant. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we can come say goodbye to you, Flo, over the next few weeks. Tell us again, if you can, quickly about the exhibit that's there and why we should come say bye to you at the Peace Gallery North.
I'm not the face really, but I would like to say bye to everyone I've met, all the friends I've made, and all the artists and art lovers I've had the chance to meet. And also I want to mention that we have the Hate to Hope immersive exhibit today and tomorrow. That's because the gallery partner with the Human Rights Commissioner. That's the government.
Yeah.
So it is an immersive exhibit with projections. It is for kids, for the family, for everyone. It is 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Admission is free, and it is in the next room of the gallery. But we do have like brochures and information for everyone to be able to read or explain to anyone. And yeah, we do have paint nights coming up, the May 25 with Tanya Grega. We also have the Bright Nights in June, which is so much fun because we do the big liner print cut, like the printings. And
with the steamroller, that's that's always fun to watch.
So it's open for everyone to watch, and there's going to be a makers market. So there's an open call for all the makers, artisans, and artists that want to participate. They can sign up until May 31st. It is free. We don't charge for tables, for anything. Just you can be inside or outside. If you need a tent, that's the only thing you have to provide, but we will provide everything else. So it is a great opportunity to showcase your art, your group, your art group, or anything you want to showcase to the community. So that is wonderful.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if you haven't already, follow Peace Gallery North on Facebook. It's a very active page. You can also check out npcc.bc.ca for more information on the Out Gallery. Thanks for making some time for us today, Flo. We'll miss you. Good luck on whatever's next for you, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. That's Florencia Ormeño of Peace Gallery North. We're right back, or rather, we'll be right back to wrap things up right after this.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza, served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
You're shopping around for an automobile.
Come see Ford City Chrysler.
You're trying to find the very best deal.
Looking for a fine pre-owned vehicle? Ford City Chrysler has cars, trucks, minivans, and SUVs, 4-wheel drive pickups, and diesels too. Many with remaining factory warranty. And they're all quality inspected and ready to go. At Ford City Chrysler, you're buying from your hometown dealer. No pressure, no hassles, just honesty and integrity. Only at Ford City Chrysler. Only in Fort St. John.
Treat your mom like the queen she is this Sunday at the Pomeroy Hotel and Conference Center, Fort St. John. Indulge her with a delightful brunch buffet featuring a wide assortment of delicious options. Choose from 2 convenient seating times, 10 to 11:30 a.m. or 12 to 1:30 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome, but reservations are recommended. Secure your spot to show your mom just how much she means to you. Get your tickets now on Eventbrite or in person at Just Jack's. This Mother's Day, give your mom the royal treatment at the Pomeroy Hotel and Conference Center, Fort St. John. She deserves it.
If you've been on a fun couples adventure, spent time having a romantic dinner, or just spent time together through a staycation, you could be the Pomeroy Hotel and Conference Center's cutest couple. Upload your photo to moosefm.ca/cutest couple, and you could win our monthly prize valued at over $600, including a one-night jacuzzi suite for 2 at the Pomeroy Hotel in Fort St. John. Upload your photo now through our app or on moosefm.ca/cutest couple. The Cutest Couple Contest on Moose FM is presented by the Pomeroy Hotel and Conference Center, home to Just Jack's Restaurant and Chance's Gaming Center, and is supported by Veronica's Closet, Carter's Jewelers, Brad's Furniture, and Freedom Cleaning and Organizing.
Find all your Bible journaling tools at Peaceful Pages. Stop in today and see their selection of Bible tabs, Bible safe pens, markers, and more. Plus, Bibles, devotionals, and faith-based books. Peaceful Pages Christian Bookstore, a peaceful place to escape. Open Tuesday to Saturday on 101 Avenue, Fort St. John.
Moose Country weather.
high of 24 degrees today, mix of sun and cloud. Later tonight, going to go to 7 degrees, but tomorrow sun comes right back up, high of 20 degrees. And then on Sunday, you can expect a high of 21, a mix of sun and cloud.
You're listening to the all-new This Week in the Peace. Be a part of the show by texting your thoughts to the Fort City Chrysler line at 250-787-2222.
Big thanks to my guests today, Florencia Ormeño and Mike Bernier, for joining us. And you can listen or watch this show again by checking out the podcast at energeticcity.ca/podcast. We'll store this in future episodes there as we make them. You can also check out our other wonderful locally produced podcasts there, Before the Peace and Secrets of the North. That's our show for today. I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us again next Friday morning at 10 for another edition of This Week in the Peace, your weekly talk show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace region. Or you can listen to this podcast again at energeticcity.ca.